let's talk about the design a stadium activity. In this activity, students will have colored tiles in order to kind of help get the process started as they design their stadium. And depending on their grade level, they will receive a certain set of criteria as well as a piece of grid paper in order to draw out what their stadium looks like and how it's laid out. So for kindergarten and first grade, they're simply going to make a baseball field, a hot dog stand, and an ice cream stand. And for each one, they are told how many square units that specific piece should have. So the students can use the colored tiles, count them out. So for my baseball field, it's 9 square units. And the kindergarten and first grade students will use the larger grid so that they can actually physically place the tiles onto the grid to figure out where their baseball field will go. Okay, so once they've arranged it how they want it, they can then color in those squares and remove it if they want to. Okay, so they'll complete the same process for the hot dog stand and the ice cream stand. For second and third grade students, they'll have criteria card B. They will perform the same process, except they can build the different pieces off to the side, and then they will use the smaller grid and just have to shade in that same arrangement of tiles on here. So then once your second or third grade student colors in their different pieces, you'll want to ask them questions about the area and perimeter of each piece and have them actually label each piece of their stadium with the area and perimeter, just to make sure that they are understanding the difference between the two, and it gives you an opportunity to support them if they don't remember what perimeter is or how to calculate it. Now, one special thing that's for the older students is that once they complete the required 3, they get to come up with a part of their stadium all on their own. They can decide what the area is, and they can add it to their stadium design. Now, one thing that is unique about 4th and 5th grade is that their ice cream stand does not have a specific area. The only criteria there is that it needs to be a trapezoid. So students might need to think about how the different squares could be partitioned in half in order to build that trapezoid. For example, let's just draw the grid larger in order to discuss it. So students are not required to find the perimeter of their ice cream stand since it is a trapezoid. But let's say students drew this as their ice cream stand. Okay, so the students could pretty easily tell that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 square units here. However, I have some halves here that I need to consider. So you'll encourage students to think about, well, here is half a square, there's half a square. How many square units is that? And they should identify that 2 halves gives you 1 whole. So I have 1 whole square here, 1 whole square here. So I know that the area of my trapezoid is 6 square units. Okay, so the trapezoid may look a little different, but either way, students should be partitioning squares in half in order to build the trapezoid, and think about those fractional parts in order to determine the area.